Hello, and welcome to the Kitty Cat Lane. My name is Lane, and today we're going to be talking about reference sheets, what they are, why they're good to have, and some tips on how to make your own. So at its core, a reference sheet is there to serve as a guide for what a character looks like. This is different from a character sheet, which typically is used for TRPGs and keeping tabs on a character's stats and written information. Reference sheets, as the name implies, are there as a visual reference to help keep the design of a character consistent. It can be for personal use or to be shared with other artists who will be drawing the character. So first, let's figure out what the purpose of your reference sheet is. Meaning, who is this reference sheet for? Are you making this for yourself? For your friends? For a portfolio? Or for a project or pitch? If you're making a reference sheet for yourself or to share with friends, you can get away with just a full body drawing, expressions, and whatever else you think is visually important to the character's design. You can keep it simple or go all out on a professional level sheet if you'd like. If you're making this reference sheet for a pitch, portfolio, or project that other people are going to be working on, you'll probably want to have multiple full-body drawings of your character from different angles, common expressions that the character will have, and possibly some different outfits if your character will be changing regularly. If you have an important accessory or item that they always have on them, you should probably add that too. You basically want to leave no room for questions. That sheet, or those sheets, are visually all you need to convey who this character is. If you only have one drawing of your character to show someone else as reference, that's better than nothing, but you're only showing your character from one angle with one expression. Look at it this way. Do you have one single picture of yourself that sums up your whole personality while accurately representing your favorite outfit and overall appearance? Because that's basically what you're asking out of your one reference drawing of your character. If you only show one picture, that leaves room for questions. Questions that can usually be answered with a reference sheet. Now, this is where a lot of reference sheets fall short at serving their purpose. They don't show enough references, and instead rely too much on big information dumps of texts and words that take up half the sheet. Let's say I'm making a reference sheet, and I want to share this information. Faye is a girl who gets really shy in front of new people, but once she gets to know you better, she becomes really bubbly and has the biggest smile. She works at a boba tea shop and has a crush on her coworker named Leaf. Sadly, Leaf is totally oblivious to Faye's feelings for them. Faye is trying to work up the courage to ask Leaf out, but she's just too scared of rejection. So what I wrote is basically an introduction to Faye, or the hook to her story. For this reference sheet, instead of taking up all that space with words, I could just show a little doodle of Faye looking shy, Faye smiling, and one of her looking longingly at her character who looks like they don't have a single thought in their head, who happens to be wearing a name tag that says Leaf. Then next to that art, I could focus on Faye again, this time her looking more sad. Now you have more references of what this character looks like in her most common expressions. Since I still had some open space on the page, I put the logo of the tea shop and uniform in the corner, since the story seems to be taking place primarily at work. If you write notes on the reference sheet, try to keep them simple and brief. I kept Faye's name and pronouns on the reference sheet since I think I would be sharing this with my friends. Now they can refer to her by name. Remember that this is a visual guide, and if you overload the page with a wall of text or too many visual focal points, the viewer won't know where to look. If it's too busy and overwhelming, they will probably just glance over it without actually taking anything in. Keep in mind that if you want, you can always write information on a Google Docs or something separate to attach with the reference sheet. That way, you can still share lore, story, or anything descriptive that you couldn't draw without overloading your reference sheet with text. As for the art, I usually like to either leave the extra expressions as doodles, or lower the opacity to make the main illustration stand out in my reference sheets, especially if the character has a bunch of bright colors. It's an easy trick to help guide the eyes of the viewer to the main focus of the page, even if your main illustration isn't in the center. But at the end of the day, reference sheets don't have to be super uniform, and there might be things that you value in your designs over what other people value in their designs. So if you're making a reference sheet for yourself, just try to have fun with it and include whatever you find most important in your character. Typically, whenever I make a reference sheet, I don't even have my character fully fleshed out yet. I'm figuring them out as I draw them, and I basically treat that reference sheet like a refined version of a concept art page. So you don't have to have your character perfectly figured out yet. If you change your mind later on and you don't really like this reference sheet and how you went with it, then that's okay. You can always make it again. Don't be too hard on yourself. Thank you so much for taking a walk down the kitty cat lane with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Here's the secret kitty of the day. Bye bye.